Hello and welcome into the Farmers Union pregame show. As always, I'm Ken Oda, Coby Brault alongside. We're getting you ready for Toros and Norsemen. Toros on an 8-game heater thanks to a weekend sweep of the Austin Bruins.
Yeah, and I will start by saying, Ken, great to be back at the Pepsi Rink. Feels like we have not played a game here in a month, which is about accurate. But yeah, very, very emotional weekend over in Austin. Friday night, first game back after the boys got a bit of a break a couple weeks ago. Great, very, very high intensity game. 2-1, they get the win there, and then Saturday left no doubt, blanking them 7-0. Like you said, 8-game win streak. Woogie gets his 19th goal, franchise record for goals in a season.
Career goals by a defenseman.
Career goals by a defenseman is 20, so he's right on the cusp of breaking yet another record. Brady James back from suspension, and really, honestly, the only loss from the weekend was Muller getting that after Saturday night's very intense game. Muller gets that 1-game suspension. He won't be able to go tonight, but other than that, same old Toros.
Yeah, it seems like whenever we see Austin or North Iowa, there's always suspensions that follow on the weekend, going both ways, and this weekend was no different. The good news, we don't see either of them for the rest of the regular season at least. And 6 games remaining, Toros a chance not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if they can close out the season and push the win streak to 14, which would be a franchise record, Toros still have a chance at getting the top spot, and not just in the Central Division, but in the entire North American Hockey League.
Yeah, only 1 win behind Lone Star right now, and it doesn't really matter. There's no home ice advantage for that semifinal or final. Everything's over in Blaine, but still it would be pretty cool to have that mark and to get there. And an interesting note, looking at last year, the Oklahoma City Warriors team that was raved about all season long, the best team in the league all season long. They were 44-14-2 at the end of the year. So, you look at the Toros record and we take these win streaks for granted, but 41-12-1 is absolutely ridiculous. It's something that, it won't be this great forever. I mean, hopefully, but honestly, just a great season, and this 8-game win streak hopefully can push it to 10 behind this great home crowd.
Yeah, and it starts with going for 9 tonight, which would tie a franchise record. Toros did that a few years ago. I believe it was the 2014-15 season, and then also already a 9-game win streak once this year. So we'll see if they can tie that record tonight. Let's take a look at the overall Toros Tribune Central Division standings after the Toros weekend sweep. You mentioned 41 wins on the season. Bismarck still 7 points back, but that means if the Toros can get a couple more wins and a little help from Aberdeen, the Toros can actually clinch the Central Division title this weekend. Aberdeen pulling ahead of Austin and St. Cloud. Austin and St. Cloud tied for that 4th and final playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and this weekend, huge matchup coming in. Obviously saw Austin last weekend. That 3-4-5 is as tight as it gets. And so you see St. Cloud outside looking in, tied with Austin, but Austin has the tiebreaker. So St. Cloud coming in with nothing to lose, trying to get to that 4 spot where they'd unfortunately have a date with the Toros in round 1 of the playoffs. But that 3-4-5 is about as tight as it gets. And like you said, hopefully Aberdeen can help out and sweep Bismarck, and then we're looking at the 1 seed for the entirety of the Central playoffs.
And of course, with Aberdeen facing Bismarck and us playing St. Cloud, that means a tough draw for St. Cloud right now. Austin gets North Iowa this weekend. So you got to think they know they're coming into this weekend needing to get points down the stretch here.
Yeah, but that's also worth noting, Ken. A couple weeks ago, it was a home and home that was split between Austin and North Iowa. North Iowa, as we saw a few weeks ago, definitely willing to play spoiler, and so that should be an interesting matchup. You'd think Austin will take care of them both nights, but yeah, like you said, tough draw for St. Cloud coming up here. Should be a great weekend.
And that's if you're St. Cloud, you have to realize best case scenario is probably a split for Austin and North Iowa. So if you're St. Cloud, you're a desperate team this weekend.
Absolutely, and a team with nothing to lose is a very dangerous team. We saw that last year down the stretch when the Toros were fighting for that 4 spot. They played Austin, I believe, 4 times down the stretch there and won all 4 just to sneak into the playoffs. So definitely something that Toros fans are used to, but it's nice to be up in that top spot, not having to worry about it.
Let's move on to our Noodles numbers, brought to you by our friends at Noodles & Company here in Minot. Just looking at the numbers on paper, at least the Toros should have the edge this weekend. More goals per game, significantly fewer goals against per game. Power plays better. Penalty kills, that's probably the only place where St. Cloud is close. They're third, whereas the Toros penalty kills back up on top of the league.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Papa John's PK. Last weekend, like we said, very emotional weekend. That you're going to end up leaning on your special teams on a weekend like that, and that PK flexed his muscle. Austin was 0 for 12 on the power play last weekend, and so some of the best special teams in the league both ways, but that penalty kill, you can't say enough about it.
No, that's been a huge key to the Toros' success. Looking at the Minitoros Booster Club player to watch, I'm going with Jack O'Hannison. He leads all scorers in the season series with St. Cloud, 15 points, 6 goals, 9 assists against the Norsemen through 10 games on the year.
Yeah, and O'Hannison, his stat line looks pretty similar against every team in the Central. Just been on an absolute heater all season long. My player to watch, Joel Lettinen, found himself back in the lineup last weekend. Great to see him back in the lineup, and he picked up a goal on Saturday. It was 7-0, so a lot of guys scored on Saturday. But nice to see Joel back in the score sheet, and hopefully back in front of this rowdy crowd, he can get it going early for the Toros.
Certainly, I think on Friday night, just like all the guys after the weekend off, but Joel had been off for a few extra weeks. Had to knock off the rust. He didn't look great on Friday, but Saturday puts one in the back of the net and looked like his old self.
Absolutely, and that's something that the Toros are going to need down the stretch. We talk often about their depth, but you need those top-line guys to produce and to continue to produce. And if Lettinen, Kettinen, and O'Hannison, if that line can start to produce like they did a few months ago, then, we're already talking about a team on an 8-game win streak, but that makes them all the more dangerous.
That'll bring us to our home key group keys to the game, and I'll kick this off. The first one, stay hot. We won 8 in a row. You've got 6 games left, a chance, like we said, to be the first Toro team ever to finish the season with the best record overall in the North American Hockey League. No reason to take your foot off the gas. Yeah, on paper, maybe these games don't mean a ton. Toros, even if they lose this weekend, finishing with 4 against Bismarck, can go ahead and win the division on their own regardless of what happens this weekend. But really no reason to take your foot off the gas and just keep rewriting the franchise record book.
Yeah, and one thing we've been saying it all year, this team does not like to lose to any capacity. It doesn't matter what the points are looking like, what the standings are looking like. This team likes to go out and get 2 points every single night. And you expect that, back in front of this home crowd for the first time in a while, you expect them to come out buzzing. For me, it's get fast. The Toros' success against St. Cloud comes when the Toros skate. Obviously, this is an interesting matchup because when you play them in St. Cloud, it's that low ceiling. It's that hard to get out of your own zone. And so obviously here at the Pepsi, we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I think if they come out fast, get that early lead, and kind of feed off the crowd's energy, I think they'll be in really good shape.
Yeah, I think you look at St. Cloud's record, not to pick on them, they're a good team, but 13 extra time losses when the game goes to 3-on-3 or a shootout, just 1 win in that situation. I think that speaks to St. Cloud, a good, hard-working team, a physical team. But when the game opens up a little bit and you have that 3-on-3 scenario or you go to the skills competition of a shootout, maybe not quite the same skill level or speed as the rest of the teams in the division. They're more that plodding, big physical style. And yeah, when they tie you up and they play you along the boards, it can be a tough game. But when the Toros start moving their feet, I don't think the Norsemen can hang with them.
Yeah, and we've seen that throughout the season so far. Each matchup obviously unique to itself, but yeah, St. Cloud, you get points any way you can, right?
Yeah.
They're still knocking on the door of that 4 seed because of all those overtime and shootout losses, but yeah, like you said, the skill set's a little bit different and definitely something definitely a team you want to play with a lead against.
And then the last key to the game, finish strong. I talked about it a little bit in the first key to the game, but this is already the best record the Toros have ever had. Best regular season in franchise history. Most points, most wins, tons of individual records as well. Let's just go ahead and finish it off. Finish with a 14-game win streak and get the top seed overall in the North American Hockey League.
Yeah, and it's 2 at a time, right? That's been the mindset for these guys all year, and that's what's led to the 41 wins is just every night they're just looking to come out and play a hockey game, and they don't really care who the opponent is. They don't really care what the situation is. They just want to come out and they want to win. And, they've done a lot of that this season. So, like you said, hopefully can finish strong and head into the playoffs on an absolute heater.
Last couple things we have for you. Open up your Toros Hockey mobile app. You should already have it ready to go so that you can get your $1 beer, $5 merchandise discount, or jump in the digital auctions. Although this weekend they're not auctions, they are giveaways. Completely free to enter, giving away player signed sticks, goal pucks, all that. So get in and register for those. But while you're in the Toros Hockey mobile app, play the Four Bears Casino and Lodge over-unders. Coby will let you guess along. You obviously can't win the $250 stay-and-play package, but the fans watching can. Toros' first period goals, we set it at 0.5, over or under.
Yeah, and Ken, I just want to say this is my contribution to Fan Appreciation Weekend. I'm giving 3 winners right here. Okay, so Toro's total first period goals over 0.5. Hammer that over. I think that it's going to be a back and forth game, and I think that there's going to be a lot of scoring.
Toros shots on goal, the number's 30.5.
I'm going to take the over on this one as well. Kind of a weird game last Friday, in a game in which the Toros won but got outshot. We haven't seen that too much this year, but I think 30.5 is pretty low for what they're hopefully about to do this weekend.
And then the final one, empty net goals. That's always, you're kind of banking on a close game there. Not just a close game, but then they have to finish it off with the empty netter. 0.5, I was looking back. I think there's actually been 6 empty net goals between these two teams this year, so the games have been close.
Yeah, and based on that trend, I'm going to go with the under, Ken. I think this is going to be a little bit too wide of a gap to pull the goalie. We're going over first period goals, over total shots on goal, under on the empty nets. That's 3 winners for you, for the fans.
And that'll bring us to the McDonald's Toros trivia question. Another game you can play in the Toros Hockey mobile app. Win a free lunch from our friends at Dakota Drive McDonald's. What is the longest win streak in Toro history? I already gave away the answer earlier in the show, so a little reward for those of you who were paying attention. 7, 8, 9, or 10 games. Get your guess in now, and hopefully we can be changing the answer on this here this weekend if all goes well.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that. I won't guess on this one because like you said, I already know the answer. You already kind of gave it away earlier. So little Easter egg if you...
a little more fan appreciation. We gave you the right answer already.
Yeah, and if you're watching on an ATV, just rewind a little bit. You got the answer right there. It's right in front of you.
Well, that'll do it for the Farmers Union pregame show. For Coby Brault, I'm Ken Oda. Let's turn it over to Josh Carlock for tonight's player introduction.